a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News and Jib Jab Greetings. I'm Bud Lowell. Your full AccuWeather forecast is found right across the top of the screen on your CNC local news pages. After more than 3 months of rather bumpy negotiations, the University of Rochester and its unionized service workers have a new 2-year contract. The agreement with SEIU 1199 and Local 200 trades wage increases in order to keep the health care plan that the union wanted pretty badly. The university says the unions agreed to accept lower wage increases than non-union employees. In return, they'll keep the health plan, under which they pay only deductibles for their health insurance, and the university covers everything else. Talks will reopen next September on wages only. The benefits agreement remains in place until September 2014. Preserving the union-sponsored health coverage at no cost to members was the major sticking point in the negotiations for the SEIU. In return, the union agreed to increase copays for specialists and imaging scans to help offset the cost of the plans, and agreed to accept 1.5% wage increases instead of the 2.5% for non-union employees. Both sides agreed to reopen negotiations on the pay issue next fall. The university said in a news release that delaying specifics on the second-year wage increase will hopefully give it a handle on how the economy is moving, and especially how the Affordable Health Care Act is being implemented. SEIU Locals 200 and 1199 represent about 1,600 university employees, including housekeeping and food service, as well as surgical techs for Strong Memorial Hospital. When conductor Arild Remmereit joined the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra just over a year ago, it was expected he would serve as the orchestra's music director for at least 4 years, but the 2012-2013 season will be Remmereit's last in Rochester, following a vote by the orchestra's board of directors earlier this week. Remmereit is a young Norwegian-born conductor. He made an international name for himself beginning in 2005, and he is noted for high-energy programs that feature works of women composers and lesser-known artists. But the orchestra's directors voted this week not to renew his contract past the current season. The RPO issued a statement reading in part, "For a variety of reasons, the RPO has decided that it is best to move forward without Arild as music director. The RPO will create a search committee to find a new music director shortly." The news of Remmereit's imminent departure brought a number of surprised reactions on the RPO's Facebook page, mostly deploring the board's action, some calling for explanations. A grand jury in Seneca County has indicted a 52-year-old Romulus man on 2 counts of second-degree murder and 1 of insurance fraud. Carl Carlson is accused of staging his own son's murder so he could collect on a life insurance policy. The Seneca County Sheriff's Department says Carlson bought a substantial life insurance policy on 23-year-old Levi Carlson, who was killed while working on a truck on Carlson's farm 4 years ago. Investigators say Carlson rigged that truck so it would fall on his son and appear to be an accident. The Sheriff's Department learned about the insurance policy, and they began accumulating a chain of evidence that led to Carlson being arrested last week. And WHEC-TV said Thursday night it has learned that police in Murphy's, California are now examining the death of Carlson's first wife in that state. They report that Carlson bought a life insurance policy on Christina Carlson just days before she died in a house fire that was considered accidental until now. Carlson is being held in the Seneca County Jail without bail. He's arraigned December 10th. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the government will return about $9 million to the victims of a Ponzi scheme allegedly run by a Honeoye Falls man. Ashvin Zaveri is believed to have scammed investors out of better than $34 million they believed was being invested in oil and gas exploration in Kentucky and Tennessee. Instead, Zaveri was using the money to pay his earlier investors and for his own personal use. The 71-year-old Zaveri was indicted in 2010, but he was found dead in Mendon Ponds Park before he came to trial. The federal government was able to recover about 1/4 of the money he's accused of stealing from his bank accounts and 2 life insurance policies, and it will divide that money among his 120 victims. Emergency responders had some busy hours early Friday morning after a wrong-way driver crashed on I-390 in Brighton, and a man fell into the Genesee River in downtown Rochester. The crash on Interstate 390 near the 590 interchange happened just before 2 in the morning. It sent 2 people to Strong Memorial Hospital. State police say they got reports of a wrong-way car on 590 heading south from Empire Boulevard. They got behind it with lights and sirens, and they tried to stop the wrong-way driver, but they got no response before the car smashed head-on into an oncoming car. Troopers identified the wrong-way driver as 38-year-old Mario Carlenius of Rochester. The car he struck was driven by 20-year-old Stanislav Duchak of Hilton. Both men were taken to the hospital, Carlenius in guarded condition, Duchak in satisfactory. The investigation is continuing. At about an hour before the crash in Brighton, Rochester police and firefighters rescued a man from the Genesee River near the Main Street Bridge. Police say they were notified by passers-by, and an officer spotted the man clinging to a pile of brush and debris in the water. Fire crews pulled him out, hampered by the 37-degree water temperature, but helped by the low water level after the dry summer. To the left of this player window, you'll find links to these and other news stories, and on the bottom of the page, links that you can use to directly post us news that you know about, things that you've written. We also are a community news resource at CNC, so we want to know about your wedding announcements, birth announcements, business openings, all sorts of community news and events. You can post them right to us, and we'll put them up on the page and put them on the news. So the next news is as it happens. Updates are when necessary, and you can help us be the judge of that. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.